What's up,
Hi,
everybody?
everyone.
Oh.
Yeah, we're ready. Sorry, O'Neill. I said you should start it, and then I just yelled out, "Hi, everyone."
It's okay. You want me to do it? Okay. Hey, everyone. We're here to review WWE Day 1. Brock Lesnar, WWE Champion yet again. First time since WrestleMania 36. And very exciting times. Really excited.
Very exciting times, he says, Jeremy. It's going to be. I actually watched this show, guys, from start to finish. So
Sorry to hear that.
I have takes. It's part of why I wanted to be here tonight because, if I'm going to watch the damn thing, I might as well get a chance to talk about it, right? So
yeah,
it's true.
But I'm happy for Bob. I'm a bit concerned about Bob's approach to this whole thing. We'll get into that here as we go.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's fair. And we could talk about that a little bit later. But I understand it, but I also feel good about the way I feel. So,
Well, I mean, let's start there, right? Because at about 6 o'clock, they announced that Roman has COVID and he's not going to be able to do the show. And so instead of doing another match with Brock or whatever they could have done in place of Roman and Brock being off, they just decided to add Brock to the WWE title match, making it a 5-way match. Poor Seth Rollins wins this ladder match, and instead of getting a 1-on-1 shot, now it's a 5-way by the time he gets to the pay-per-view. What can you do? So it's a 5-way match, and before we get into all of this, when Brock gets added to this, what are your thoughts, O'Neill?
I mean, I kind of thought it was either going to be him or Biggie. Anytime he's in a title match, it's like, oh, okay, well, he could win, and that wouldn't really be surprising. I didn't want him to beat Roman. I didn't think he was going to beat Roman, but once he got added to this, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe.
Joseph, what do you think when you heard that Roman was out, Brock was in this WWE title match?
I mean, I was a little bit bummed because I knew I was going to watch the show, but I didn't know what was on it. And I don't really like these big multi-man matches. In the end, I really enjoyed it. So I was bummed from that perspective. I thought there was a good chance that the finish was whatever they had intended, plus Heyman or the Usos doing whatever they were going to do to Brock in the Roman match. We assume. Obviously, they went a different way. The one thing I will say is, and this doesn't defend what happened because of, they chose to have a certain guy pinned, which we can talk about. It is kind of customary in this situation when you're booking like a replacement match to give the people what you think they want. And as much as someone like myself cringed at what they did to poor Biggie, I think there's probably an argument the live crowd really enjoyed seeing Brock win the title. So I'm not saying it's right. I think there's a bigger conversation to be had about Big E's title reign and all that stuff. But I think it was always kind of feasible. This is what they do in a replacement scenario,
I thought I was 100% sold that, okay, the Usos are going to come out. They'll take out Brock. Heyman will kind of be out there as well, doing whatever Shakespearean storytelling they're trying to do here. And that's how you get Brock out of the finish without him getting beat. I thought it actually helped if the direction is Brock and Roman at Mania, which now it still seems like that's the direction, but might be title for title. I thought if that was still going to be the ultimate play, I thought it helped because now you don't have to beat Brock or Roman at this show and then still try to do it at WrestleMania. So I was like, oh, this is actually like a good scenario for them here. And then, I thought whatever the original finish was going to be, that's what it was going to be with Usos and Heyman taking out Brock, however they were going to do that. And then I didn't really suspect Brock was going to win outside of, hey, let's just do this to fucking do it. And it's Brock. Why not? I understand your point, Joseph, of like, hey, kind of give the live crowd what they think will be the biggest pop. And look, it got a good pop and everything. I just didn't see that scenario. I was 100% sold on Usos taking him out, and that was going to be that. Obviously, it wasn't that. So they do the match. It's like 10 minutes, if that. It was like,
yeah, it was kind of short.
Really short. Yeah. And in the end, Brock hit Big E with the F5 and pinned him. And O'Neal, I can only assume that you woke up the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah. No, I was fired up, man. I was excited. Again, it maybe didn't have to be Big E that he pinned, but it's good that he's champion again. I'm excited if they go with Lashley, if they go with the Big E program. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think there's a lot more for him to do on Raw than SmackDown, even though it looks like they're still gonna do the Roman stuff. But yeah, overall, I mean, I love the match. I am a big fan of the decision, and I am kind of intrigued at what they're gonna do tonight. So they got me hooked at least on that.
Guys, is my connection breaking up?
It's a little choppy.
Okay, because both of you are breaking up for me, and that normally tells me that it's me.
Yeah. Can you reset, Joseph?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a second, guys. I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, Phantom says maybe it didn't have to be Big E. Maybe. Come on now, O'Neal. It didn't have to be Big E. Like there's two minds of this, right? I'll try to play a little bit devil's advocate. Of one mind, it doesn't have to be Big E at all. You've got Owens, you've got Rollins, you've got Lashley. One of those guys can take the pinfall. Obviously, it was going to be Lashley because of the way they're setting up Lesnar and Lashley for the Rumble. Yep. So I can understand wanting to protect him. You've got Owens and Rollins who they could take a loss here. Ain't no one gonna. Kevin Owens is always getting beat, it feels like, and he's fine. He can talk himself continuously into stuff. So it could easily take the loss there. You can protect Big E because there are multiple people in this match. The other mind is it's more credible for Brock, who obviously needs all the credibility in the world, to actually pin the champion. How many times do we see these multi-man matches where the champion doesn't get pinned and then it either doesn't lead to a rematch or they just move on, whatever it might be? Charlotte, Io, and Rhea being the best example last year. It's Io won the match, pinned Rhea, or I guess 2 years ago now. And then Charlotte just moved on, and I was supposed to let it play out, and there was a point to it, and then there happened to be nothing to it. I don't mind when the champion gets pinned. That's honestly how it should be. The problem in this scenario is that a lot of people love Big E. I love Big E. And so nobody really wanted to see him take this loss. They wanted to see him have a good run, get back in the picture if he was going to lose, and have a match, have a one-on-one match with Brock. The issue is WWE doesn't see that. They just don't see it with Big E. They were like, we're going to pin the champion. It'll be okay. And we'll just move on from Big E. And I assume he's just going to be back to a mid-card type guy now. And we'll just kind of forget this reign ever happened.
Yeah, because, I mean, in the moment right after it happened, it's like, okay, so Big E can win the Rumble and jump and face Roman now, because SmackDown doesn't have a ton of top baby faces. And, with Drew, maybe being out for a while now, it kind of makes a lot of sense to go do that. But it doesn't seem like that's the plan. So, yeah, that's concerning. I will agree with that.
It doesn't appear this is fixed, folks. I get the sense. Seems bad.
Not ideal.
Okay. Well, you guys have a great show. I'm going to go.
It seems fine for me. Am I breaking up?
I don't know. I can't. Both of you are breaking up for me, and I just assume that's on my. Poor Bobby. I can't make out what he's saying.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that's not good. Because, yeah, you seem fine on my end, but, yeah, it's not working for you then.
Okay, well, I'll try my best here because I've shown up. I may as well, earn my appearance fee. You're talking about Big E, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. This is where you run into kind of... When you're trying to be analytical, this is where I find it to be difficult, okay? I think for what they set out to achieve on Saturday, they did a really good job. The issue is I don't think any of us agree with what they intended to achieve on Saturday because we all see Big E differently to the way we assume they see him, right? Mm-hmm. So if you said to me the purpose was we want to make Bob and Brock feel like a mega match, I think anyone that's being objective can say they nailed that. I mean, Bob didn't take one move from Brock. He had the hurt lock in, etc., etc. The issue is the broader topic about how they see Big E and what that kind of what that reign has represented and all of this stuff, right? So I personally think there was I think there was a lot to be said for the way Biggie won that title and what it told us. And considering he beat Bobby and when he beat him when they wanted a rating, and you combine that with the fact that this match ended with Bobby being the priority again, I think there's probably a lesson to be learned in there and a message that's been sent. That doesn't mean Big E can't win the Rumble, right? And I'll be honest with you guys, I think there's something to be said for it, right? You know, if I had the pencil, there's definitely something to be said for just saying, hey, you know what? We've messed this reign up. Let's reset and start again. The question is, do they intend to start again with the same level of ferocity that maybe you or I would in terms of Big E being the top guy? I don't think they see him that way, but I'm guessing, right? Like, I can only, you know, I think Big E's going to work Goldberg at WrestleMania. That's my honest read on it. And that's okay. It isn't quite what you want, though. And I think they see Big E here, we see him there, and that's going to be the conflict moving forward. But, you know, the actual match and what they wanted to achieve, I think they nailed it. It's a matter of whether you like that direction or not, right? Like, I'm torn because, I mean, I'm all in on Bob and Brock. And I think Brock is... Listen, man. Brock has been a real crutch for them creatively, and there's a lot of flaws to the way they use him. But, like, dude's as fresh as he's been in years.
Yeah.
Like, this babyface stuff is fun, and it feels different. So, I don't have a lot of instinctual resentment for the result. I have what everyone else has, which I think is concern for the big picture in terms of Big E's kind of, you know, his direction. It's kind of hard to be optimistic about that, I think. But that's, you know, we'll let it play out, right, Bob?
Yeah, exactly. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
I'm not letting it play out. I think Big E Goldberg is probably the direction for Mania. I think you could have done that at the Rumble, and you could have given something better for Big E at WrestleMania. I don't have any hope that he's going to win. I don't know what they're going to do with the Rumble. I've seen people toss out the idea of almost Wrestle Kingdom since it's 2 nights, you do Brock and Roman on night 1, and then you do the Rumble winner. Maybe he faces someone night 1, like Elimination Chamber winner on night 1, and then the two collide at night 2. The 2 winners at night 2. I've seen that idea tossed around. Not the Elimination Chamber part, but the Rumble winner faces the Rock Roman on night 2. So I've seen that idea tossed around. I don't think it's going to be Big E. I think, like Joseph said, they told us what they thought of Big E pretty quickly into this reign. The way he beat Lashley, cashing in after Lashley's match with Orton. He did beat him in the rematch in the cage, which was like that got the reign off to a good start, all things considered. They like getting that victory. And then it was just kind of all downhill after that with the coexisting stuff with Drew, losing matches by DQ or count out or taking pins in triple threat matches, whatever it might be. Like they told you what they thought of this reign. It's a shame because I know Joseph and I personally, like we have Big E very high on our big board. And especially, I know Joseph will attest to this, especially the way that man like carried that belt off of television, going to College Game Day, doing the boxing events, doing all the interviews and everything he did. He represented the company very well off of television and felt like somebody who you can send to all this stuff and he could be a crossover star for them. And they didn't do him any justice of that on television.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. I think the one thing, if you're a Big E fan, is what else are they going to do with that belt at WrestleMania, right? Because I think they're going to do Brock and Bob at Rumble, right?
Mm.
And you would assume the finish of that match, unless they're ending the brand split, you would assume the end of that match is Roman somehow costing Brock. And then potentially, you know, that sets up Roman and Brock to complete their story at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Effectively, doing whatever you were going to do at day 1, but then just giving this like extension. So that's my assumption. That's my guess. The question then becomes, what do you do with Bobby? Right? So unless you do what Jeremy said and you have the both, you know, the 2 nights thing, I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if there's a return that I'm forgetting about, but like there is definitely. But then it's Biggie and Bobby Lashley in the Mania match. I don't know. They've already done that a bunch, haven't they?
I think it can
I
be.
mean, they have, but yeah, you can make that a Mania match.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think Brock and Roman is still the destination. But what do you think? What do you think they're going with this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with. I don't think they're both going to be champions by the time Mania comes around. Look, I think Brock could lose to Lashley and then win the Rumble is something that could happen. Then jump and face Roman. They have probably another Saudi show. Do they have a pay-per-view in March, or is it Saudi show and then Mania? I think
it's just a Saudi show.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you got two shows.
Are they not doing Elimination Chamber?
I don't remember. I thought there was since the Rumble's so late, I thought they were just doing the Rumble and then one show and then Mania, but I don't remember for sure. But that's the thing though. Like, there's plenty of time for Brock to still lose the belt and then go back to SmackDown. And he can lose it to Lashley, and I wouldn't have a problem with Lashley against Biggie. I think Styles can factor in somewhere too once he finishes the stuff with Omos, but I don't know how long that's gonna drag out for. There's a couple interesting pieces on Raw. It's just a matter of getting them ready.
What pieces are you referencing? AJ and who else? I'm intrigued.
AJ,
how about Seth freaking Rollins?
Yeah, I mean, Rollins can stay heated up. I mean, I don't love him, but Kevin Owens, now that he's got the long-term deal, can still be in the picture. I wouldn't want to see it, but a guy like Riddle has obviously been positioned pretty highly. I think Finn Balor is still on Raw, so he could be there, be heated back up. It's interesting. I mean, there are options.
There are. There are not many good ones, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird one. I think I really like the idea of giving folks, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. It's just, what are you sacrificing to do that? And it's also like, if you did AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley, I mean, bless those guys, but like, it's a little bit short term, isn't it? I mean, a combined age of 90.
Well, yeah.
It's just tough. I don't know.
Yeah. Then that's really the issue and then you're going to run into that with most of the matchups, which seems like a bigger problem overall.
Yeah, of course. That's not on you. It feels like you need to do something here with Biggie. Wherever that takes place, I think it's clear that you need to get him to a certain position before long.
Well, here's how you get the Lashley match. Is apparently this got announced for Raw. The 4 losers are now going to face in a losers bracket match, and the winner gets Lesnar, I assume, at Rumble. And I think we all assume Lashley's winning this. I want to go back to a point you made of Roman costing Brock the match against Lashley. Like, I didn't think of that. Like, I just kind of figured Brock would win and they were going to do title versus title. I don't know if you want Brock eating any losses here.
Well, you could do it 2 ways, okay? The first way, Brock immediately enters the Rumble after and wins it.
Yeah.
Which would undo that. Second way, you would do it if you knew for sure you want Brock to beat Roman at WrestleMania. Because in that case, it cancels itself out, right? That's a big win. Now, I don't think any of us think that's really the role for Brock, but like, if that's your WrestleMania match, Brock is winning that match.
Yeah.
He just is. So I saw a lot of speculation, people saying, well, what you're going to do is you do Bob and Brock at Mania, Roman and Big E, and it's like, I mean, yeah, in a vacuum, that makes sense, but that leaves Brock's feud with Roman unfinished, and it has Big E as the babyface being like, yeah, Brock kicked the shit out of me, I'm going to pick Roman Reigns. Like, I don't really like the idea of the babyface picking between 2 dudes that beat him up, So,
yeah,
that's the best matches you can make. But that doesn't seem to work from a storytelling perspective. That doesn't matter to them, but you know what I'm saying?
Can they go full Becky Lynch with Big E? And what I mean by that is Big E does win the Rumble, and he's like, I want both of you guys winner take all match. And then that is how you get Big E over. I mean, I say can, like they just, of course they can do this, but like, is this a 1% chance of happening?
So in that scenario, Brock would beat Bobby at the Rumble.
Yes.
And then Biggie would win the Rumble and call out both guys, and you would just kind of the story of Roman and Brock would conclude with Biggie as the centerpiece pinning one of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that works fine. It's just the problem comes to we've got to be frank about it. Do they trust Biggie to be champ for one brand, let alone two? I don't.
Oh, definitely not. Like, I don't think they're going to do this at all. But like, if you want to, because I think if they had any trust in Big E, they would have gone and given him a better reign these past couple of months here. So I don't think they're going to do this at all. But I'm saying, like, if you want to, do something here and you want to maybe make good on this, and you do want to establish Big E as that guy, I mean, there are worse ways than one of these guys in a triple threat match. And then if you want to go back to Brock and Roman and do the singles match whenever, you can totally do that and just have this triple threat match be part of the story. And then you can circle back to, I would assume, so let's under this scenario that's never going to happen. Big E pins Brock. Roman is mad that Brock was part of this match in the first place. You do Roman and Brock. I mean, I don't know if they want Brock taking all of these losses, but in my mind, like, he's a part-time guy. I don't care if he takes these losses. He's Brock Lesnar anyway. Roman pins Brock to cap off that feud. Then you go to Roman and Big E after that. Again, this scenario is never going to happen. I'm just spitballing things of, hey, let's make the guy who I think they should make.
That's very fair. Do you think there's an outside pick here? Do you think maybe Volta is an outside pick? Maybe who else is in NXT? Someone.
Braun Breaker is the seemingly sexy outside pick.
And he would wrestle if you went my route, he would wrestle Lashley, right?
Yeah.
Well, now look, in absolute fairness, that sounds fucking incredible. So I'm not shooting that down.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but that's interesting. I'll say this, because this is a day one review, but I'm glad we're having this conversation. I can roughly see this. Whatever way they do it, I can roughly see it. The women's title scene is like fascinating. Because we know last year they didn't really know where they were going. And they eventually concluded it was gonna be Lacey, and then Lacey couldn't, and then all of this stuff. So the women's title scenes are really intriguing to me in terms of I don't see what the plan is. I assume Bianca and Becky, I guess. But with the men, I can kind of see. The one thing I will say is, because I was in and out when you talked about it, I thought the match was really good. So, 8 minutes and that, but I thought it was pretty much perfect for what it needed to be. It was an absolute just action movie fight scene, right? It was just chaos everywhere. I thought it worked. So there you go. That's where I'm at on the world title. Anything else on that? On the the Bob, the Big E, the Brock, all that good stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Now, before we move on here, Bob, it appeared you were taunting people on Twitter.com. I had multiple messages that you were taunting people. You tweeted the I won clip, which was sent to me like 5 times. Any comment on those allegations?
Yeah, I was really feeling good after Brock won. I don't apologize for any of my actions. It's good. I have one guy that I'm able to just be a fan for and go and just root for him and hope he wins and be happy for and not look at it, analytically or critically or whatever. And I enjoy that I have one person to do that for.
Very fair. That was the best match of the night, right? That or the tag?
Yeah.
It's bookended by good matches. The opener I thought was really good. Big E, New Day, the Usos. It disappointed me how little heat the thing had early, but you knew they were going to get there in the end. They did. It was it's the safest bit in wrestling, right? Usos, New Day. Give them about 15 minutes and they'll figure it out, and they did. It was really good. I think those two were the standout matches. Anything on the tag title match, Bob?
No, kind of like you said, it did take a little bit to get going, but once it did, it was good. I mean, it's not, their best match, but it's still very solid, very consistent, and really fun opener. I enjoyed it a lot.
Jeremy Lambert?
It was probably my favorite New Day versus Usos match outside the Hell in a Cell. I mean, there's a lot of them, and they tend to kind of run together. And there could be one that I'm just completely not remembering because there are so many of them. Maybe there's some recency bias as well, but like it was a great match. I thought the crowd was. I thought they were into it more or less the whole time. I mean, you said that it may have been little off early, but I thought they were pretty into it from the jump on this match. And then you give these guys, I don't have the time in front of me, but they certainly got time.
17 minutes.
There you go. Yeah, you give them, that's right in my wheelhouse too. Like 17-minute match, that's perfect. This might be my favorite match of all time now that I think about it.
What do you think the end game is for this? Are they just going to run this back at Mania with a stip, maybe?
Yeah, probably. They'll do a ladder match at Mania. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Is there another team on SmackDown that they're going to make a triple threat like they usually do?
Quinn and Riddick Moss.
Okay, so that's a no.
Sheamus and Ridge Holland, didn't they win on the pre-show even though Ridge got a broken nose?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Cesaro and Ricochet, great start to their tag team run that they can't beat one Sheamus.
Listen, them versus the Usos would be something crazy, though. In all seriousness. They should book that.
Well, they're not going to.
This go in order here for a little bit. Drew Mack, Madcap Moss, Bob. You claim you were going to call the police if this went past 7. It went 9:42. So your update on that matter.
Yeah, I called them. They told me to stop bothering them, but it was way too long, though. I don't know what they were. Well, I guess I figured out what they were going for. Once the news came out that Drew was hurt, but they still probably could have taken 3 minutes off the match and still done the backstage thing and been fine.
Jeremy, you struck me as a big Madcap Moss guy.
No, I didn't pay attention to this match. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm with O'Neal. This match felt like it was about 15 minutes. I was wondering why it was so long. I didn't call the police, though.
Yeah, that'd be too much. This is one of those deals where you can tell that, like, some of the agents and wrestlers think that Riddick Moss is good. And honestly, he might be. But they don't realize that he's doing this gimmick. And, like, I don't care how mechanically sound dude is. This gimmick can't go 10 minutes with anyone that's, like, over. And, like, Drew isn't over enough to pull off this kind of shit, Like, he just isn't.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, I do think Drew, by all interview accounts, likes Madcap Moss. And so he wanted to try to, like, sort of make him in this spot. And you're right that, like, Drew isn't, like, blessed though he's 2-time WWE champion and everything, but he ain't the guy to be trying to do that because the fans just don't perceive him on that level. And this gimmick is such a death that there ain't no making with a good in-ring performance because he's going to tell some shitty joke on SmackDown and people are just going to be like, oh, this guy sucks.
Yeah, like I like Moss, I like Corbin. This just the gimmick's not working for me.
Yeah, the match itself was like, it was not like bad in a kind of, my God, they fucked loads of stuff up. It just had no heat and was a misread on the audience. So that happens a lot, frankly.
Real quickly, Joseph, before you continue,
yes.
Let me read some chats here. Guys, send in your super chats. Send in your bobber chats. We should register bobberchat.com, but you can go to humperchats.com and send us some money and messages over there. JJ says, Bob, how was your victory laugh?
It was great. Again, had a really nice night Saturday between Brock Lesnar and the Eastern Conference leading Chicago Bulls. It's good.
Was that day one of the DeRozan game winners or day two?
Yes.
I asked, was it day one or day two? And you just said yes.
It was day two because he hit one on New Year's Eve and then the other one was New Year's Day.
Okay. Good for him. Jay Blood says, just seems they went Brock over as strong as possible because Roman over Brock at Mania maximizes Roman. He's their number one priority.
Maybe. That could be the case, honestly.
I mean, both of those guys are the priority. There's at least one more. Andrew says, the big return is The Fiend. God, don't tease me.
Seriously, that SmackDown roster, man. I think Bray or Braun, maybe both, are going to get an offer coming soon here. Telling you, they need some... Because let's be honest, both of those guys are better in the system than out of it.
Yeah.
And I know that's frustrating for some Bray fans, but I think we don't see where he fits. I think they'd make a lot of sense as Rumble returns, man. And I know that sounds like a bit, but I'm telling Braun especially. Like being able to hit the big Braun in a big arena like that, a stadium, wherever it is. And I think I want to say it's a lock, but it feels like something that's very feasible to me that one of those guys is going back.
I wonder how much those guys, obviously money talks. We've seen that in plenty of instances. Zelina Vega being the most recent and the loudest instance. But like, I would just wonder how much damage those guys feel after the releases from them. And they're just like, you know what? There just isn't the money that is going to make me go back to this.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to have that opinion when you're first released, more so than when you've,
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance Bray's doing his thing. I think Braun would, I don't know. I don't want to speak for the guy, right? But like, I don't think there's a ton of options out there right now. So it is what it is. We'll let it play out. Any other super chats, Jeremy?
No, but Joel Pearl says Omos versus AJ reannounced for tonight, and Priest Dolph rematch where Priest loses the title if he's DQ'd. Put the belt on Dolph, baby.
Factual. Speaking of great tag teams, the Raw tag team title, the RK Bro against the Street Profits. This was a match. Bob, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I thought it would be a little bit better. It was kind of just there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it was missing something.
Randy doesn't seem to be taking great inspiration with these tag matches. I'm going to be honest with you. It kind of seems like he sees them as his time to like take it easy more than usual.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like, I mean, I watched I want to say I watched the match for the Usos. Well, no, we talked about it. I think I read this. There was one match I watched I thought would be good, and I just, like, it was okay. It doesn't seem like Randy's desperate to have any kind of tag team classic or anything like that. Like, this was fine. It was probably, you could probably say it was pretty good, right, Jeremy? I don't know. Where's you on this?
Orton in these tag team matches is very much we ain't really going to do much. All people are going to remember is how cool this RKO looks. So let's just get there. And this is the cool RKO, right? Riddle threw him up in the air. He came down and he got hit with the RKO. That's all people are going to remember. Nobody's going to remember that Montez did his dive for the millionth time or that whoever did whatever. I don't remember any spots of this match. I remember that RKO, though. That's all people care about.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that is the actual philosophy. So,
yeah,
God bless him, you know? It was okay. The Edge versus The Miz. This match went 20 minutes.
O'Neal loved this match.
No, so this is like right when the Bulls game was getting down the stretch, so I did miss most of this match. I saw Beth Phoenix come out at the end. That was cool. I'm looking forward to the mixed tag when they do it. That'll be cool. But they probably didn't need to go 20 minutes.
Yeah, man. It was long. And Edge is a smart professional wrestler with, a real connection with the audience that allows him to get away with some stuff. And in absolute fairness to him, the people were with this in the last kind of stretch there.
Mm-hmm.
However, like, you gotta book Edge with people that have some snap shit, man. I blame his, but his stuff just looks like it was all so just, none of it looked good. None of it clicked. None of it had any kind of crispness to it. It was just flat pro wrestling for 20 minutes. Even like when they went into they try to do some sequences at the end and it all looks slow. And I wouldn't say it's like a terrible match or anything. I just they overestimated what these two dudes could do together. They're capable of a 20-minute match for these guys means they're booked with someone that really maximizes what they can do. They're too similar for that. Like, it didn't work, I didn't think. And bless Beth, but that execution was hilarious, man.
That was
one shot. That was incredible.
The shot where she's just like standing there huffing and puffing for 5 minutes, and then her music hits, and then finally she's allowed to walk to the ring because the music hit. That was so bad. That was something else. But yeah, these are two. I mean, and I say this in the nicest way possible. They're two WWE system guys going out there and having a 20-minute match. And you get what you get, I suppose, when you try to do that, honestly.
Yeah.
And these guys don't know any better. This is how they've been trained their entire time. So what are you gonna do about it? They should have shaved some time off of this match or just not done it at all. I didn't have high expectations going into it because I can't think of many programs I want to see less than Edge and Miz. Bless both these guys, but they lived up to my expectations, I guess. So good on them. They weren't high.
Yeah, the Miz is really difficult because like everything that Edge said is true, and bless him, he's had a really good career, and like obviously all that stuff's correct, but like, does anyone really see him as one half of these like mega matches? Like commentaries, like this is one no one wants to miss, and it's just like, I mean, I want to miss it. Most of the people I talked about professional wrestling want to miss it. Like, there's like, bless the guy. I'm not even trying to knock him, but like, does anyone see Miz as like a blockbuster match guy? Like, I'll put him on the marquee. That's a big one. Like,
what's the best Miz match?
You know what else is that?
Probably the Bryan match.
It's the match with Dolph.
Even those.
It's the match with Dolph, guys. Come on, don't do a bit here on the air.
Yeah, that's fair.
It honestly is the match with Dolph.
Yes, it's the career match with Dolph. It's an incredible match.
Yeah.
And
the Bryan matches are disappointing.
Dolph's one of the few guys that can bump with enough kind of, especially in his prime, enough velocity to make Miz's shit look good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what you need, because look, Miz has some strengths, but he has weaknesses, and his stuff just doesn't. People just kind of sit there and watch when he gets hit. He doesn't have any kind of edge to it. It's a shame. Anyway, Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Bob O'Neill. You've been the host of some very controversial tweets about at least one half of this match. Your thoughts?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot better than the Raw match. I think it really kind of solidified that Liv can be in this spot. I think she can still get better on the mic, but I think, for what they're trying to accomplish at the beginning of this, I think they're closer to kind of having her as a top star than they were, 6 weeks ago. And that's ultimately what you want, right? I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with her from here because, we've seen before that, once you lose the title program, you kind of get shuffled to the back of the line. But I think it did a lot for Liv.
Jeremy Lambert?
I would agree with O'Neill. I thought Liv came out of this despite losing in a better situation than she entered it, because I don't think, especially like that, some of those promos she was cutting on Raw, not great. The fans weren't really buying into her winning. It was we've talked about the bad positioning before. Nobody really wants to boo Becky, but Liv, this was an instance unlike the Corbin and McIntyre, where a loss actually did some good and made Liv feel like a bigger deal. Not Corbin, Moss and McIntyre. It made Liv feel like a bigger deal. Now, reportedly, the finish was messed up as Becky's feet were supposed to be on the ropes, and they weren't. I don't think that that's a terrible thing, because then if you just do that, then you have to do the Liv match again, it would feel like. And what are you going to do? Beat her a third time? Or Liv finally does get the victory? It's like, okay, cool. But then that sort of derails where we think they're going with Bianca, Becky at WrestleMania. So I think Becky just winning outright and winning clean is good. And you can move on. You can move into the Becky and Bianca program, hopefully. And now you've got to actually find something substantial for Liv and keep her heated up and, get her into another run whenever that might be.
Yes, I agree with both of you guys. Chat, tell me if I'm breaking up here, because I could make out most of what the guys were saying. But I don't think I like the match quite as much as you guys, but that doesn't mean I disliked it. The one thing I will say, I know this is a hot take, but it's my opinion on it. Like, I kind of thought Liv was clearly the stronger performer in this match, which, oh God, like, Becky had some really weird moments. There was one moment where they did the deal with the steps, right? Where Liv stomped on Becky's arm in the steps. And then, like, Becky got in and was just, like, back on offense. And she, like, clutched it once, and it was like, good Lord. I mean, the whole point of that was that it was such a significant deal that you were running it back. I don't know. It was a weird one in that sense. I thought the match was pretty good. I just thought that I thought Becky has had better performances. I'll put it that way. As for what you do next, you need a program for Liv, right? You need something for Liv to go into that isn't. I mean, obviously it's going to be a demotion, but what I mean is, you need something that isn't going to be like a massive, holy shit, like she's fallen off the map. The problem with that is I don't know what they even do with Becky. So trying to figure out what they do with Liv is like, because I don't know what programs they're off. But unless you're getting Asuka or Alexa back tonight or next week, you need a Rumble program, and I don't know who it is if it isn't a return. So Asuka, I guess, makes some sense because that's been like a Rumble thing, right? Like they did that match before, and you can do that, I guess. I don't know if that's actually intriguing to anyone, but it's an idea to me. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you do with Liv? What do you do with Becky?
Yeah, if I had to guess, it probably is going to be Oscar or Alexa for Becky, but I think, SmackDown also needs one of them now as well, just because that division's suddenly having some trouble. But yeah, I mean, as far as Liv, like, you look at the rest of the Raw women's roster, like, she's probably not going to work with Bianca. Maybe she finds a tag partner and goes after Zelina and Carmella, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
So has Asuka been drafted? Has she been drafted to a roster, Asuka, or not?
I don't believe so.
Okay, sorry, Jeremy, carry on.
I would say I think Asuka makes the most sense for Becky. She comes out tonight. She cuts the promo. She's beaten everybody. No one's left. And then Asuka's music hits and she comes out. And then Becky almost like kind of dismisses her, be like, I handed you the title. Like you haven't beaten anybody type of thing. But it's an easy setup, right? Because she literally did hand her the title almost 2 years ago now. So I think Asuka makes the most sense as the Rumble opponent for Becky. As far as Liv goes, I don't know what you're doing with her. I'm not sure you need like a story in the immediate for her because you do have the Rumble and the story can just be heat her up for the Rumble, make her a viable contender to win the Rumble, which I assume is kind of the way they're going to go with Bianca. Coming out of the Rumble is when sort of you need something for her to kind of go into WrestleMania. And that's where I worry of, okay, what are you going to do outside of put her in a makeshift tag team so she can be part of the 6-woman tag team match at WrestleMania to get everyone on the card type deal.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd have to sit down and look at the SmackDown roster because I think Bob is correct about they need help. But my instinctual response there was, well, if you give Asuka to Becky, give Alexa to Liv, But then you'd need to send someone to SmackDown. I don't know who you do.
Who is? Are they going to just run Charlotte and Sasha?
I guess you could do Naomi, right, until you get the Banks match ready. Because the Banks match is the WrestleMania match, I guess.
Yeah, I would assume so. If Naomi's going to lose, they clearly don't care about beating Naomi, so sure.
Yeah. Well, you could do it where you do Charlotte and Naomi, and you have like Sonya as the kind of, she's like looming over the whole thing, right? She's upset that Naomi got the match. Naomi loses to Charlotte, but then you can pay off the whole thing by having Naomi beat Sonya. So you can, you could kind of make that whole story, which apparently has been going on for 20 years, you can make that the title program.
Yeah.
You could do that pretty easily too, because Sonya's like an authority figure.
Yeah.
So, you need to obviously do something for SmackDown, but my genuine kind of feeling is that like those programs are just, obviously I don't know what the situation, Asuka may not be ready, Alexa may not be ready, but at least there'd be something, you kind of inject some blood into it. So yeah, it'll be interesting. We don't know what the situation with Banks either on SmackDown. Like, I know she said she's good, but we don't know if she's going to be good like this Friday to wrestle. We don't know, so we'll let that play out too.
Anything else from day one? That was the co-main event, right? What a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that was about it.
Show.
What would you give this pay-per-view out of 10?
5. Everything's just a 5.
I'd probably go like 6.5. I like the main event a whole lot. A lot. I like Becky and Liv a lot. So that's about half the matches, 65% of the matches. How many matches were there?
My God, did you throw a percentage
7?
out there? It was See,
There
I
were
don't
7
know.
matches, right? Pretty sure there were 7.
Yeah, we'll go 6.5.
See, now I'm fucked because I was going to say 7, but Bob went over than me, so I'm going to say 6. I really like the main event, man. I'm sorry. The main event popped me tremendously. I have to admit. The finish I get, but you got to remember I'm way past caring about their finishes. I'm not,
Yeah.
I've lived that life. I ain't doing it ever again. I thought it was fucking an incredible piece of business. I mean, they give me like 2 Seth Rollins moves in the whole thing. God bless. I mean, that's ideal right there. So, yeah, I'll give it like a 6, 7. I thought it was okay. Pretty good.
It's something that I'd rewatch the main event again, especially because it's so short. I'd probably rewatch the tag team match again because that's sort of in the wheelhouse. Everything else, I can kind of take or leave, and I'd probably leave it.
That's fair.
That's fair. I just think the standard's very high now, and sometimes my brain hasn't adjusted from like the way pay-per-views used to be. You know? Like there was nothing on this pay-per-view that I would say was like an abomination. And that immediately on my WCW scale, that gives it like a 5 immediately. And then if you give it like a match that I would consider to be borderline great, I guess my scale has a lot of. It's kind of generous, perhaps, but honestly, my instincts are a 7. What did the cage match give it, Jeremy? What did the cage match give it?
Always the beacon of.
Probably give it like a 9, 9.3.
They're probably right around where we were.
Cage match gave WWE Day 1 from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, on the first day of 2022, a 7.08.
My God.
There we go.
Do you guys like the ad where everyone does the thing with their finger? Bob, do it. It's more flared than that, guys. You have to kind of go go sideways.
Oh, okay.
There's got to be like a sense of pride to the way you do it, you know?
I don't have any pride to do it, so
your thumb is too flared, Jeremy. It has to be like the focus has to be just the one.
I got large
your
thumbs.
Flared?
What do you want me to do?
You got to hide it somewhere.
My thumb. If I bend my thumb, my finger bends.
Okay, that's fine. You have a limitation there, Bob. Show me your day 1. There you go. Bob looks like he's giving a wicket in cricket. Good for Bob. Fair. It appears I've destroyed the connection for this program. I will now leave because I do not feel very well, frankly, and I overestimated myself doing this show. I hope everyone has a good night. I have one plug. The Fleet 50 is underway. Send your ballots to me at joehulbert05@gmail.com. And, your top 50 in-ring performers of AEW's 2021. Send them in. You've got 3 weeks, a little bit less than that now, and we'll have a final tally here in a few short weeks. So that's all I've got to say. Thanks for having me, guys. I don't know how much I'm going to be around this week, but 7 out of 10, baby. All hell. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Feel better, buddy. All right, O'Neill, you want to talk about the Chicago Bulls? I don't know what else we're going to do. Let's fill some time here.
Yeah, they're playing the Magic tonight, so should win again, hopefully. Yeah. Lonzo's back. How are the Thunder doing?
Josh Giddey got a triple-double last night.
I saw
youngest player in NBA history to get triple-double. I think they're losing, cool. So that's fantastic. I'm not trying to see them win games. I don't give a shit if they win.
That's the thing. Like, you just want the young players that are going to be there to perform well, and they have, and you're going to add on to it.
Yeah, I feel very good about things. Shea's playing great. Giddey's playing great. Dort's well. We got some guys stepping up and everything. We're going to be a lottery pick. If the Nets could fucking take care of some business and beat the Clippers shorthanded, that would have been ideal. But Paul George missing time, Kawhi still missing time. The Clippers will end up making the playoffs in like a play-in game scenario. If they get Kawhi and Paul George, they'll have Paul George back before then. But if they can slip into the lottery, that'd be pretty nice as well because we got their unprotected pick. So,
yeah, there you go, man. That's what you got to do. That's how you build the team.
basketball chat, O'Neal. How are the Bears doing?
They're bad, but they won yesterday, so it's interesting. You don't have a first-round pick, so it's like I don't care if they tank, but they're also bad, so it's like it's hard to really care too much about them. But
All right.
Kind of is what it is, I guess.
Panthers suck. I can't even watch their games. Just
I don't know what happened
product.
there because they were good for a couple weeks and
for 3 weeks, 3-0.
Yeah.
Then everyone realized Sam Darnold actually sucks. So what can you do?
Yeah,
just a mess of a franchise right now.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
How are the Blackhawks doing? Are they any good?
No. They started the year really bad, then they fired their coach and got a little bit better, and now they're bad again. Fair. They probably need to trade Kane and Taves, which is going to suck, but,
Those are some big contracts to move.
Yeah, that's the thing. And they both have, like, full no-trade clauses, too, so it's like it's going to be hard to find someone to take. I think Kane's still very good. I don't think he's that good anymore, but I think you could get something for Kane.
I mean, I would take either of those. I don't know who the Avs offer for either of them, unless Chicago's retaining a shit ton of salary. But like I haven't watched a lot of Chicago. I would like Teos. I don't know how much he has left. You said it didn't seem like he's got a ton left. But I've always liked the way like Teos played. And I mean Patrick Kane, he's just incredible offensive talent.
Yeah. Yeah, like the thing with Taves is he can't score much anymore, but I think if you have like a first-line center and you don't need him to be your first-line center, he'd probably be fine.
No, I need Jonathan Taves to be like my third-line center on this team. We got McKinnon and Kadri as our top two guys. So
yeah, exactly. So he'd be fine.
He can be a second-line winger, or Kadri can move to the wing, or he can be a third-line center. But like you're paying $8 million for a third-line center. Is he restricted after this year? Or is he got years
next year?
Oh, that's going to make it difficult too. It's like then you got to pay him next year as well. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Good chat, Bob.
Yeah. What else, man?
No, it's a busy week in wrestling. Very busy week. You gonna watch everything?
I am. I haven't really watched wrestling. The week I watched SmackDown, like Dynamite on the 3rd, and then that's I think the last show that I watched on the 30th. I wasn't home, and then I heard it was not a very good show anyway. And I haven't really seen anything since then. I didn't watch the street fight on Rampage yet. I want to go back and watch it. I didn't watch Cody winning the title. A lot of stuff I got to catch up on, but I am going to watch Raw tonight. I might watch Wrestle Kingdom later if I'm still awake.
Wow.
At least a little bit. Because tonight's the night that everyone's talking about, right?
I guess. I don't know. I looked at these cards and I'm like, both nights kind of just got some stuff that I kind of like, and both nights got some stuff that I don't really like. This shit does not need to be 2 nights. I will say that much. Like in years past, it's kind of worked. They've been able to stack it, but like COVID and missing so many guys, and with the company honestly feeling very cold, even with Wrestle Kingdom, like just it ain't that much buzz for this thing. So like 2 nights, I'm just like, both the first half of both of these shows feels very skippable.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the tough part too, if you're trying to stay awake to watch them over here.
I got to be up, and I'm going to cover that. I'm going to watch along on Twitch. O'Neal, you should join the guys on the Twitch watch along.
It's going to be like 5 a.m.
Something like that. I mean, the main show starts at 3. Not that much.
Yeah, maybe, if I'm around.
There you go. Joseph, what questions do you have? You don't have to send a super chat. If anybody else just has some random questions, I don't care if you send a super chat. It'd be cool.
Why not?
You guys have some money. We like money. It's the new year. I'm sure everybody's got it. Says, how do you guys feel about Top Dollar wanting to fight Samuel Guevara? What are your thoughts on Top Dollar, O'Neal? Is there anyone hotter?
No, absolutely not.
You fucked up the joke.
I did. No, I mean, it's sometimes people want to fight each other, man. Not everyone's going to get along.
Very, very well said. Sometimes people just want to fight everybody, and not everyone's gonna get along. I agree. I don't know. I look forward to that podcast. Should be fun. I think Swerve going to AEW pretty soon here. So
Yeah.
there you go. Forder Soup says, "Who's winner the Rumble?"
Well, my men's pick was Brock Lesnar. I think I'm going to change it now, even though if he loses to Lashley, I think he's going to win the Rumble. But men's pick, I guess I'll have to see what happens tonight, and then I'll make my pick. My women's pick was Bayley. No one's really talking about her. I don't know that she's going to be ready, but I think if she comes in at 30 and, works 3 minutes and she has, 3 months to still get ready, it can work. And she'd fit right in on SmackDown too with how they are right now. So I'm going to go with Bayley still for the women and ED for the men.
Who for the men?
To be determined.
Okay.
I don't have an answer yet.
Porter Soup says, "What did Bob think of Halloween Kills?"
Yeah, I didn't watch Halloween Kills yet.
Oh my god! It's off the streaming platforms, right?
It's off Peacock. I'm sure that it's somewhere else. Everything's on some streaming platform now.
True. Elliot asks, "Who takes the title from the Code Man?" Nobody. He's gonna hold that belt forever.
Shaq.
That'd be great. Honestly, Shaq showing up to inside the NBA with the belt. Just pass it around like it's the 24/7 title. Kurt Benoit wants to know, what's the plans for tomorrow's show? I don't know, man. That's what it said. That's say. I don't know if there's going to be a show tomorrow. All right. Like, let's honestly, like, no one lock me into a show tomorrow. Okay. It's a long week. It's a busy week. I've had a stressful day today. I'm irritable. Like, don't lock me into a show tomorrow, please. So I don't know, man. Jacob Addick says, Jeff Jarrett coming for the GCW Ultraviolet. What'd you think of Jeff Jarrett showing up in GCW?
It rules. I love it. I want Jeff Jarrett to show up everywhere. I think wrestling is better when Jeff Jarrett's around. I am really excited for his baseball thing, though, because it's only like 90 minutes from me. So if he ever does anything cool, I will probably go.
What do you mean if he ever does anything cool? He's Jeff Jarrett. Everything he does is cool.
I don't know, be like a show after or something, or if he's like, I'm going to go work whoever, I'll go watch.
You think he's going to work the Hammerstein? It feels like he's going to work Hammerstein, which would be fucking tremendous.
It does feel like it. And that's hilarious.
Like, that's their big show coming up. I don't know why you bring in Jeff and run this angle if you're not going to pay off with some type of match at Hammerstein. Like, Jeff and Cardona against Effie and Allie? Is that what they're going to run?
Yeah. That would make sense.
Hammerstein's not next weekend, but the following, I think.
I think it's the 23rd.
Okay.
Or 22nd or 23rd, because Detroit is the 14th, I believe, and I'm going to watch that because Nash is going to be there. I know they have the Chicago show coming up, which is going to be Scorpio against Gresham, which will be fun. Yeah, I want to say the 22nd or 23rd is Hammerstein.
So that's not next weekend, but the following. So, yeah. Joel Pearl says the 23rd. So there you go. By the way, I called the Homicide victory. I thought that made the most sense to do Homicide. Hammerstein with the ROH history. Moxley, weren't you ranting on Twitter about GCW spoiling Moxley's return for AEW?
I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, you kind of figured Moxley's going to show up on one of these TBS shows, and I mean, they didn't technically say that Homicide's going to face Moxley, but
I mean, they said he's the top contender. They said Moxley's the champion. I'm doing this unless you're doing it in Hammerstein. Like, otherwise, what are you doing for Hammerstein? And like, the only way kind of out of it would be Moxley comes out and then, or not Moxley, Homicide comes out. Moxley is not there because he's still, taking care of himself and everything. And then the Gage comes out because I don't know what Gage is doing right now. And he's got to factor into Hammerstein somehow. Yeah. So that's the only way I could see around it is Gage comes out. And it's like, Moxley still out. Fuck that. We're still doing this shit. king of this shit, Nick fucking Cage, all fucking day, and then you do Homicide and Gage, and the people are still happy because I'm sure they want Jon Moxley. They're going to be happy with Nick Cage. Like that crowd, they'll be fine with Cage. I think that's really the only way around it.
And it doesn't really matter. Like AEW can announce that he's coming back before he comes back, and he'll still get the same reaction he would get if it was a surprise. So
I think they're going to want that to be a surprise, though. Unless they do, I don't think they want to do like promo segments. I think they want it to be a surprise, and then I think they'll advertise them for the following week of like Moxley kind of promo segment. But I think they want that a surprise instead of, oh hey, Jon Moxley kind of returns. But it depends on what they're looking for. If they're looking for the live reaction, you're right, they'll get it regardless, but they'll get a bigger reaction as a surprise. If they want to pop the rating, they're going to announce Moxley beforehand.
That's fair. Good point.
Cody says, I'd say Mox comes for Cody at Battle of the Belts on Saturday. He could come for Hangman, assuming Hangman beats Danielson on Wednesday. But I think that's opening. I'm pretty sure that's opening because if you close with it, then you know where it's going to fall as far as the time limit. If you open with it, much like they did last time, you could still feasibly do an hour-long match. So he could come for Hangman after that, like, or Danielson, let's say whoever wins that. And then here comes Jon Moxley to confront them of like, look, motherfuckers, sorry about your virgin ears, MK. Like, look, guys, I guess you can't say motherfuckers on TNT or TBS. Can you say that on TBS? I don't know.
I don't think so.
All right. They should make an exception for Jon Moxley. You just say, look, guys, I was in this tournament. Nobody beat me. So give me this belt. All right. Then you just do that. I don't know how you're closing that TBS show. I guess Malachi and Brian Pillman, tremendous.
Gross.
Joseph asks, Bob Fed Dead or Fleet Beat?
I think, it can't be Fed Dead right now because Brock's champion again. So I guess it's Feet Beat.
Feet Beat?
Fleet Beat.
Correctly? There you go. Leland says, make Mox a judge and do the Funk Flair angle. There you go. Cody says, his Impact announced the start time for Hard to Kill. I'm pretty sure it's 8 o'clock. Fetish Bob. Bob, what do you think of Feet? Are you on Rex Ryan's camp here?
No, I'm not going to sit here and kink shame anyone, but it's not for me, but you like what you like, man. Tony Atlas is really open about it, and that's good that you can be open like that.
True. Do you think that Antonio Brown gets signed?
To AEW or WWE or the NFL?
Yeah.
I don't think anymore. I think like 20 years ago, WWE would have brought him in, but they're kind of cowards now. Like 20 years ago, they'd do the whole, they're going to have a wrestler retire mid-match and just leave thing, too. They're not going to do that tonight. It's a bummer. They're cowards.
You just say WWE are cowards? That's as close as you're going to get to Fed Dead from O'Neal. Bring in Antonio Brown. I feel like he's going to box a Paul brother by the end of this year.
That's coming.
JJ wants to know, are you going to watch Hard to Kill?
All the women's stuff actually looks really good on that show. I'm not even going to lie. I don't know most of the men's stuff, but the Deanna match and the Ultimate X is going to be a lot of fun.
Joseph says, please construct a talent trade sending Madcap Moss and Happy Corbs to AEW.
So AEW would get those two, and then WWE would get the Acclaimed, I guess. That's not, no one's happy on either side of that. I think.
No one's happy on either side with that deal. I'd give up Caster. I like Bowens. I'd give up Caster.
Yeah, I like Bowens too. He's very good.
Yeah. Toby Associated says Pillman Jr. and Brian Cage. What a deal that would be. Yeah, nobody is happy on either side of that. I think WWE would actually be. Nah, they like those guys, man. They really like those guys.
Corbin a lot too. The gimmick's not working.
Yeah, it does seem like AEW likes Pillman Jr. as well. Otherwise, I don't know why you have him wrestle at the Arthur Ashe show and then wrestle on the TBS debut show unless you look guy. But
yeah.
What do I know? Can't get certain people on time or on television, but you gotta make sure you got time for that Brian Pillman stuff.
Yeah.
All right, O'Neill, plug some stuff because I'm tired of talking to you.
You follow me on Twitter at Robert O'Neill 31. You can subscribe to this very channel you're watching, and you can see. I have enjoyed the cold opens going up every day. I've been watching those. It's been fun to rewatch. I'm glad you're doing that. We have a Ring of Honor show allegedly once in a while. A lot of other stuff here. You go latenightgrin.com and we do some stuff over there. We have a generally Rampage post show. We have some TEW stuff, a whole bunch of other stuff. $1 a month. If you don't like it, I'll refund your $1.
O'Neill, did you tweet on air that you tested negative?
I did.
Why didn't you just announce this on the show? Come on, man. Give us something here.
I got COVID tested today, and I am negative, so that's good. I was kind of concerned.
Yeah, great. You broke the news on Twitter.
Yeah.
Broke the news on Twitter instead of on air. What's wrong with you?
It is good, though, because this means I can get back to Missouri and get back to my regular setup instead of the setup I have here, which I don't like as much.
That's good. I look forward to talking to you on Thursday. Guys, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, okay? I don't hold me to any type of a show tomorrow. I'm going to be up early, not reviewing, up early, covering Wrestle Kingdom. I work enough as it is. I'm off to a bad start to this week. All right, I'm going to play video games with Twitch, on Twitch with Joe Pearl tomorrow. We're going to do that at the very least. Don't hold me to a show tomorrow, okay? If I feel like doing a show at 6, I'll do a show. I don't know what it's going to be. If I don't feel like doing a show at 6, I'm not going to do it, all right? I love you guys, but I don't – it's a long week, all right? I'm burnt out already. It's only Monday. It's a long week. We do have a show on Wednesday. We will do the AEW preview on Wednesday. Andrew Thompson's going to be on there with me. And then there will, of course, be the main show on Thursday. No post show on Thursday, but SP3 is going to be hosting the main show on Thursday. And assuming O'Neill is around and he doesn't randomly test positive for COVID in the next couple of days, there will be a Corner 3 on Thursday. God bless SP3 for putting up with your antics. We have a true professional, and here you come an hour into the show to do. I tried to get you to do one when Luther was on last week, but the timing did not work out.
Yeah, it didn't work. I had something I had to go do, but I watched most of that show. Luther's great, man. That was awesome.
What a tremendous character Luther is, right? So yeah, there's plenty of content this week. Okay, I know Denise is doing a Wrestle Kingdom post show on Wednesday as well. There's plenty of content and stuff this week. All right, I'll try to figure something out for tomorrow, but yeah, I don't know, man. That's why I put that, because I don't know, man. We appreciate love. We appreciate the support. Love you guys. Hope everyone enjoys this week of craziness. Hope it goes really fast. And we will talk to you guys later on. Bye, everyone.